I have a very exciting video for you today because here in front of me I have the Flower Nose Little Angel collection. I got a few things. Actually, I wanted to buy everything from this collection. I really wanted everything. I'm very excited about this collection, but we're just gonna get into it and try what I got. So in this collection we have two eyeshadow palettes, we have cream blushes, we have highlighters, we have matte lipsticks. We have a bunch of different things. Let's hop on into some close-ups and swatches. First up, we have the matte lipstick from this collection that I got. There are, I believe, 10 different shades. I got one shade just to try out the formula to see how I like it. The packaging of this is super intricate. It has a lot of beautiful details. I love how they did the pink on this packaging. It looks kind of like quartz-like, little see-through. I think how they did the theming for this collection is just super cute. I got shade C04, shade Cupid. It seems to be kind of like a rosy type of shade, kind of like a rosy nude. As you will see in the swatch, this did kind of like break apart, like the tip of the lipstick kind of broke as I was swatching it. So it's kind of like something you have to be careful with. The formula of this is just kind of delicate. So yeah, be careful. It's swatched a little unevenly, a little see-through, so we're gonna see how this is gonna work on the lips. Then we have the highlighter that I got from this collection. There are 4 highlighters. I got the shade Paradise Lost. This is LO2. The packaging of this, I think, is my favorite packaging from everything I got in this collection. This is so super cute. I really love how they've done this. I love the light blue and the baby pink, and then the little angels and the little raised heart in the middle. It's so cute. The embossing of this is just next level, out of this world. It is so intricate, and it actually is quite raised. Like, they really made it an embossing that kind of lasts. Is not gone after swatching it once. I think you're gonna see it for quite some time. The shade of this is kind of like this almost peachy pink nude shade. When I swatched it, it did seem a little like on the deeper side. I don't know if it's gonna really suit me as a highlighter with what my skin tone is now in the winter, but we're just gonna try it out. It looked really smooth, like not sparkly at all. Very smooth and very beautiful in the swatch. And then we have the cream blush that I got. This is the cream blush in 04 Rose Ashes. I really wanted all of these, but I decided to first just try one and see how I like the formula, and then maybe on a sale could go back, like grab another one. The packaging of this is also really cute. It's a little smaller than the highlighter. This one is black with kind of like bluish, greenish in the middle. Very cool. The embossing of this is also beautiful, but it disappears a little more quickly than the highlighter, even though you can still very much see it after the swatch. It's still very much there. You can still see the angels and all the details and the flowers. The shade of this is quite a light pinky, kind of like cool tone pink. So I'm really curious to see how this is gonna look on my cheeks. I was expecting it to be a little darker in real life, so we're gonna see. But it seems to be kind of like a natural finish. It's not too balmy or anything. It's not too dewy or sticky. So far, from the swatch, this is what I can tell. Very excited to try that one as well. And then I got both eyeshadow palettes because these are very different, and lately I've been really into Flower Nose eyeshadows. First up, we have the 01. This one is in Eden's Angel. This packaging is just gorgeous. It's beautiful. I really love how sparkly this is. It's kind of like almost like vintage angel. Makes me think a little bit of vintage angel ornaments in a Christmas tree. I don't know why, it just makes me think of it. I think this looks super cute. And then when you open it up, it's kind of like this arch inspired situation. The color story is very like neutral to cool tone. We have 3 shimmers in here. One of these is a little bit more of a duochrome shimmer, which goes from nude to kind of minty blue. We have kind of like a pinky champagne and a light pink. And we have a bunch of different mattes that go from a little lighter to a bit deeper, so you can deepen it up a little bit. I think so far this looks gorgeous, and the shimmers are very wet looking, which I love. And then we have the second one, the second palette, and this is the one in Weeping Angel. This is with the black packaging with the blue as well. a little bit more out there, because this one actually has blues, it has purple, it has periwinkles, it has colorful mattes and also colorful shimmers. I think this looks absolutely stunning. They really gave us two options, like a very colorful one and a very kind of neutral one, even though I feel like this is still pretty wearable. Even though it has blue, it's still pretty wearable. I think you can get pretty wearable looks out of this still, because it's a little bit leaning pastel with some deepening up shades that are actually neutral. So both of these palettes I think are absolutely stunning. I actually already did a look with the nude palette that I'm gonna show you first, and then after I'm gonna do a look with all the other products and the black palette, the O2. So let's hop into it. I'm gonna be doing a quick nude look, kind of like nude sparkly. Gonna see what the lighter palette can do. The one in 01 Eden's Angel. We have a lot of light tones, we have some deepening up shades, we have some beautiful looking shimmers. So I just kind of wanna see what this palette can do. And I want to keep it pretty simple. So I think I'm going to go into this shade over here. I don't know if these have names. No. So this cooler tone over here, I'm going to put that through the crease. I'm also going to zoom you in a little bit. Like so. I'm already wearing eye primer. Let's see what brush. I'm going to sweep a bit of that through the crease. It's definitely a light shade. I do see pigment. I do see that it's like smoothing over the eyelid in a very beautiful way. It is very soft, very subtle. Just sweeping that across. Not much of a difference, but let's add a little bit of another shade as well in the crease. I'm gonna take this one, gonna sweep that around as well. Let's see. Okay, that does change the color a bit. But that one also isn't too deep. Now I think I want to try if this gray one is good quality, if that's gonna work out, if that's not gonna be patchy. So I'm gonna apply a bit of that in the outer corner. And I personally do really like kind of like softer nudish tones, but then with a pop of gray. So that's what we're doing. This one is definitely more pigmented. I feel like this is going quite well. No complaints. It's not as easy as the nude shades, but this one is also not as close to my skin tone. So then you have to put a little bit more work usually towards the blend. I'm just taking the first brush and I'm going over the edge. Okay, I'm just gonna repeat what I did at the top on the bottom. Just mixing the two lighter shades. And I'm just doing a little bit of the gray in the outer part. I don't know what it is, but I really like the mattes. It's just, they're very flattering. They look kind of airbrushed. Because I have some issues with mattes looking dry on my lids in the winter, because some parts of my eyelids, they do become a little like crepey, wrinkly. But with these, so far, I don't seem to have any issues. Little blending again. And then we have beautiful shimmers. I'm gonna see if I can apply them all to the lids. I'm gonna go with this one first. And I'm just taking my finger. By the way, ooh, that's kind of unexpected. That almost looks like it has a bit of a blue flip to it. That's gorgeous. Oh, that is really nice. I love that. This seems to be the same formula as in the Swan Ballet collection, where there were just these super wet looking shimmers that I just fell in love with. That is stunning. Doesn't seem to have much of a base, but it's just very wet looking. Very pretty. I'm gonna take this slightly pinker one. I'm gonna put that more towards the inner part of the crease. That is more of a like pinky champagne sparkly shade. I don't feel like you really need all of the shades on the lid, but I just want to try them all out. And now I want to take the lightest shimmer on a brush and I'm going to put that in the inner corner. This is more of a ballet pink and it applies easily with the brush. I always like to check that because sometimes you just need to have that precision. This one seems a little less texture, but it has a really nice glow to it. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this shimmer again. I'm going to put a little bit of that on the lower lash line. Just a touch. And then for the last step, I'm just going to take a little bit of the deepest shade, like the dark brown, and I'm going to do a little bit of a shadow liner. Just taking that on a flat brush. Just add a little bit, but it's not too harsh. Alright, I'm just gonna finish up the look. Gonna put on some mascara, some for the lips, and I'll be right back. Alright, so this is gonna be the finished first look with the nude eyeshadow palette. I think it looks stunning. I really love the shimmers. The mattes are beautiful tones that I feel blended into each other very easily. They were very flattering. I just feel really pretty and I don't know, I really like this look. I'm actually really excited to use this palette more. I really like it. Alright, let me know what you think and then let's go on. Let's do the second look. Alright, I'm really excited for the second look. We're gonna go and do a more colorful look. And I think I just really want to try the colorful mattes and see if they're pigmented, if they're blendable, if they're gonna work the way I want them to work. So I think I kind of want to go with the lightest lilac and then with the kind of like periwinkle blue in the crease first. So let's start out with the lilac. I really like, that's pigmented. That is really nicely pigmented. I really like these types of shades, like cool toned pastel. Ooh, that's really nice. I loved it. It was effortless. That is a really nice shade. Now I'm gonna go and take some of that blue and see if that is as pigmented. Okay, love that. I have tried some kind of colorful mattes from Flower Nose before that I felt were a little soft. Just a little. Like, it was not bad. There was nothing really wrong with the shades, but I just felt like it could have been a little bit more punchy, but these are really like. Once again, I feel like these mattes are super flattering. I don't feel like they emphasize a lot of dryness or skin issues that I have with my eyelids. I feel like most lighter mattes do, so this is good. I think now I want to go into the deepest purple and see if I can kind of deepen up this situation. I just want to see how all of these mattes blend and how they work together, so let's see. Ooh, I really like these tones. Just taking a little bit of a smaller brush for this, but don't know if it would be really necessary because it's still not that deep of a shade. Just gonna do a little blending again. I might go back in later to intensify a little bit. I really want to try out the blue shimmer because it has kind of like a flip to purple or like a purple shimmer in it almost. Kind of like both, like a shimmer and a flip. And I really want to see how that works out on the eyes. That's really pretty. That is stunning. This one is a bit more pigmented, less of that very sheer wet look shimmer, but I feel like this kind of difference in texture, it makes the eyeshadow palette a bit more versatile, and that is something that I really like. Just gonna blend the edge a little, but I definitely need something a little deeper in the crease, otherwise I feel like it's not really meshing together. So I'm gonna take the deepest brown, this shade over here, and I'm gonna put that in the outer corner here. Does take away a little of that blue. I feel like I have to go back in to intensify a little bit with the blending. Going back in with the fluffy brush. I need to get that color back into the look. So we're gonna go back into the blue. See how much of that we lost. And then blending a little bit again. Going back into the lilac. Feel like these shades do lose some intensity if you start blending. Like you kind of lose them. You kind of have to go back in. Kind of have to be aware of that. I feel like they might look best in a more simple look, but I'm just gonna try some different things in this look. I just want to try the different shades, how they work together. But I think I might keep it a little bit more simple in the future with these. I'm gonna go into this top shade. It looks very sparkly, very kind of chunky almost. Gonna apply that right over here. Yeah, this one is super sparkly, super kind of wet looking, almost a little chunky, but I do really like the way this shade looks. That is really cool. This is, I think, the most chunky eyeshadow that I have tried personally from Flower Nose. Like, that is texture. And I did get some fallout on my face. I'm gonna have to fix that later, but I didn't do my face yet because of that. I had a feeling something like this would happen. All right, let's do something for the lower lash line. I think I'm just gonna take it a little slower. I'm gonna use this nudie pinky shade, and I'm gonna use a little bit of this one as well. This nudie pink seems a little random in the palette, but I guess maybe they are expecting people to blend shades out into it. Could be. I think I'm just gonna take a little bit of the deepest brown just here to kind of blend it together. Got a little messy, but gonna do a little cleanup in a bit. Okay, for the inner corner and I think a little bit of the lower lash line, I'm gonna see if I can do that with the gold shade. Yeah, that's really pretty. It almost seems to have a little green in it, does it? It's kind of like greenish shimmer, which I didn't really expect, even though I have already swatched this palette. A little under the eye. Alright, I feel kind of like a mess. I feel like a lot is going on here. I feel like I'm totally covered in shimmer. I'm gonna go off camera for a sec, do some makeup, then we're gonna try the rest of the things. Alright, I put on some face makeup, clean up under my eyes, I did my brows, mascara, and now we can move on to the blush, the cream blush. And I did not put on any bronzer. If you hear any background noises, it is kind of storming outside. It's a little crazy. But I didn't apply any bronzer. Usually I do, but I just want to see this color on its own. And then if I feel like it, I can apply a little bronzer afterwards. I am just going to take the Singe Beauty F03 and we're going to dip in a few times. This is how the angel is looking now. Not, well, it's still there, but it's definitely less detailed than it was before. Let's start. Okay. That is much lighter than I was expecting it to be from the swatches and just how it looked like on the models. So that is one thing to note. I mean, I am a very fair person, especially right now. I do tan in the summer, but I don't know. I do really like how it blends out. I do really like how this looks on my skin, but it is very, very light. It has kind of like this natural finish. It still feels a little sticky now, so we're gonna see how that dries down. I don't really like it when creams feel like thick, heavy or sticky on my skin. I do like it, but it is a very light pink. It is very light. But usually Flower Nose is really, they are really into light colored blushes. But there are a few like darker colors in this line. I just thought that this would be up my alley, would be like the safe choice. And I just wanted to pick one that would work for me. Feels a little creamy, feels a little sticky, but I do really like the finish of this. I'm gonna apply a little more just to see if I can build this up a little bit. I do really like how this looks. It does seem pretty effortless. It feels pretty effortless, it applies effortless, and it looks really, really nice on the cheeks. I really like that kind of like glow that this has. It's not like crazy glowy, but it's far from matte. Okay, I'm gonna give that some time. I'm gonna give that some time to dry, if it will dry. So I'm gonna wait a second with the highlighter because I really wanna see what this does on its own. So we're just gonna apply the lipstick, the matte lipstick. I'm gonna take off a little bit of a lip balm that I have on right now. And I'm gonna carefully apply this because I don't want to break off anymore. Alright, it feels very creamy, very balmy. It looks very matte. Does emphasize some texture on my lips. It doesn't look super flattering if you ask me. I don't know if it is the shade or the formula. It's just grabbing on a little bit too much to dry patches, if you ask me. It's not really meshing well with my lips. I'm gonna add a little bit of lip liner and see what that does. Alright, I added a little bit of the Line Loud lip liner by NYX in Global Citizen to kind of tone down the shade a little bit. It felt like it was a little bit much with the rest of the look. I don't know about this lipstick. I am not sold on it. At least yet. I don't know if maybe in the summer, if my lips are a little less dry, if I scrub them first and apply more lip balm, it might work, but I don't really love doing all those things to make a lip product work. If I have other lip products, I have so many lip products that do work without all the hassle. The cream blush doesn't really dry down. It still feels creamy, it still feels a little sticky. So if you don't like that, I feel like you might want to set this or you might want to skip this one. Like, it's not a powder finish. It's also not the stickiest thing in the world. My hair is not gonna stick to it, but I feel like it's gonna stay a little smeary. Alright, let's just apply the highlighter. I have high hopes. I hope it's really gonna be pretty. Let's see. Just gonna take the Singe Beauty F07 highlighter brush. I'm gonna load up a little on my brush and let's apply. Seems kind of like in between a natural and a super glowy highlight. It is very natural, but pretty. It looks really pretty. It is just very smooth and subtle. This is with the highlighter. This is without any yet. But we already have a pretty glowy cream blush. So I'm also gonna try this later with more of a matte blush and see how much of the glow actually is from this highlighter. I'm gonna put a bit on the forehead as well. Yeah, I really like the finish of it. It's a little deep for me for the forehead right now. This is more of a summer shade of highlighter for me. I do really like the tone of this one and I do really like the finish. I feel like this added a little bit more depth to the cheeks. I felt like it was looking a little pale. I'm gonna go back into the cream blush and just kind of put this on top to blend it all together. I feel like that kind of cancels out the highlighter. Yeah. It makes it look less glowy. Okay. Gonna go back in with the highlighter. I'm just kind of like playing around with these products. I just want to know how they work, how I like them. Go back in with the highlighter. I feel like I don't really love my eyeshadow. I feel like I want to change something. I feel like I want to add a little bit of the lilac over here. Just a bit. Don't know if that really solved it for me, but we're just gonna keep it as it is. Alright, so this is gonna be the finished look and I feel very 80s. The lip and the eye, I know I bought it, but I wouldn't normally combine it. Let me know how you feel about it. Yeah, let's talk about this collection. I feel like not everything was as I expected, especially the blush. By the way, I forgot to mention we have a lot of like different accessories that they send with. If you buy this collection, they give you a bunch of things. I got some poofs, I got some little pearls and stones that you can attach to your face to add to the look. I got a blush brush, I got a hair clip, I got a makeup bag, I got a bunch of different things. So if you buy from them, you will get a few freebies. That's their thing. For me, it's not really necessary. I already have 2 of their blush brushes and now I have another one. I have hair clips, I have a lot of things already. But yeah, the actual makeup, I feel like I struggled with this look a little more than I expected. And I feel like one of the reasons is the blush being lighter than expected and also not really setting down. And I don't really know how I feel about it. I feel like I could definitely use this color. I could find a way to use the color. I did quite like it when I built it up, but it's just a little sticky. And I just like something that kind of dries down to almost feeling like a powder, and I feel like this doesn't do that. So I would be kind of scared to smear this on something or for it to, it feels a little heavy on the cheeks. I can feel it on my cheeks. So I don't really know. I feel like this is not gonna be for everyone. The highlighter though, I did really like. The highlighter is really pretty, it's really shiny. I have to use it a little bit more with different products. I feel like it looks a little thicker now because of the layering with the blush. I feel like so far so good. So far I think it looks good. I think it looks shiny. I think it's a pretty shade. Yeah, I don't feel like it looks too powdery or too heavy over here. I think this one is pretty. I think this is gonna be like a good choice from the collection. Then the nude eyeshadow palette I really enjoyed. A really beautiful color story, really beautiful shimmers in here. Really like the look that I did. It was pretty effortless. I felt really pretty. This one is a good one according to me. I feel like I had a little bit of a harder time with the blending with this look. Especially applying the brown over the blue. Didn't really work. It could be me. It could be me. Maybe I didn't combine things together that should be combined. But I just felt like with this look, I was spending a little bit more time on blending. I was a little unsure it was gonna come out okay. I still feel like it could look a little bit more seamless than it does. I do really like the shimmers in here. They're really pretty. The lighter pastel mattes, they just kind of flew away. Like the pigment kind of disappeared. So I had to apply them again. It's not an issue, but like very quickly when blending, they kind of disappear again. I was really hoping to absolutely love this look and absolutely love this palette, but I just have to be honest with you. I'm just not sure entirely about this look, even though I really like the shimmers, even though there are definitely parts of the eye look that I like. I just have to try out that palette a little more to see if it's just a fluke, like a one-time thing, or if I will have more trouble using it and blending it. I just have to see about that palette how I really feel about it. And then we have the lipstick. It broke off when I swatched it. I think like from afar it looks fine and it feels comfortable. It doesn't feel bad, but I just feel like it's not super flattering. It just looks a little off on the lips. It just clings to dry patches. Maybe it's a shade thing. Maybe the other shades are better than this one, but for me, this one, I don't think it's gonna be a favorite. But of course, I'm gonna try it out more. I'm not gonna say now that any of these are like true fails, but I definitely have to try some things out a little bit more to be able to tell you if I would recommend them or not. Yeah, I don't know. I think my hopes were too high maybe. I was super excited and I would just feel a bit like maybe it's not all that, maybe it's not all for me, maybe it's not all my thing. I am not 100% blown away just yet. Alright, that's gonna be everything for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it and don't forget to subscribe, and then I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye!